Saturday. Christmas comes early.
Unbelievable! Welcome to this incredible scene.
Bills.
To the end zone!
Chargers.
It's a touchdown!
An exclusive NFL game.
That's fantastic!
Live in primetime.
Wow!
Only on Peacock.
With a Christmas gift to their fans. They're having some fun now.
Bills versus Chargers. Saturday, 7:30 Eastern. Exclusively on Peacock.
Hey y'all, welcome back. This is another episode of Mavs Party. Dallas Mavericks just defeated the Chicago Bulls 115-104. Does that sound right? Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That's what it was. It was 114-105. Excuse me, got the score backwards. That kind of tired. Josh Bowe and I just recorded a few minutes ago. This is now our live show. If you're at all interested in hanging out up here on stage with me, go ahead and click the link to the StreamYard in the YouTube comments there. If you are listening on the podcast the next day and you want to hang out, you really should. You should come follow the Pod Maverick YouTube page and get notified whenever we go live. We got two folks already waiting to come up here and chat. Anybody else that wants to hang out, I really do recommend coming and talking a little basketball and or Rangers if you are a excited World Series fan. Coming up first, we got David. David, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, doing good, Kirk. I've been gone pretty much the entire summer while we were waiting for the new season. So
it's for the best. It's a mental health break from basketball, but now we're having fun.
It is a lot of fun. So just got back from my first live game. So I was there at Victory Plaza. So
that's outstanding. You went to the game.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Was
I
downtown just nuts?
I was a little worried. I thought it was me last year after the Western Conference finals the year before. So I thought, I was like, this is my litmus test. And they closed it out perfectly. It was a beautiful game. And then, of course, the Rangers that we stuck around in Victory Square to watch the Rangers win the World Series. So that was the vibes are immaculate.
Pretty great.
But yeah, I wanted to say a few things. I didn't catch the show with you and Josh before because I was making my way back home. But
sure, let's hear it.
Say that so my notes from tonight, so just in case people are not sure where he stands, I am fully on board. Luka is in the best shape since his rookie season.
Ooh, good take. I expound on this because this was not Luka's finest game.
No, he didn't play particularly well tonight. He didn't see a lot of the traps and doubles particularly well. I mean, there were times where he was like 4 guys were on him and he was trying to fight through because he was getting pissy and wanted a foul call, but he definitely is more lithe. He's wiry, like he's got that body and frame that he had maybe his first 2 seasons, definitely not last season. So, whatever cardio and weight like training that he's been doing, I think is working. I noticed it in the first few games. Obviously, they started on the road. He's getting into his sets quicker. He's a little more active on defense. I know it's kind of been talked about in the community, but like definitely being there in person and seeing, I was like, oh yeah, his body looks different than it did 6 months ago.
That's really interesting. That's good to hear because I rarely make it to games live just because I do this stuff.
Yeah. It was. I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool. And then Grant Williams, and then I don't know where Derek Jones Jr. came. I mean, I know really where he came from.
He was a Bull, and before that, he was with the Heat.
I know, like his slam putting nuts on Zach LaVine's back was just like that was, and then the flex afterwards, like that was tremendous. And LaVine, it was, yeah.
I hate to interrupt you. LaVine is a guy that as I understand it, because he's with the Wolves, he came to the Bulls. Levine is a guy that, as I understand it, his apparently grates on teammates a little bit. And so if he was teammates with Derek Jones, I wonder if he liked dunking over his buddy. That's really something. That was quite the dunk. Go ahead though.
Oh yeah, no, like you could tell like that was a moment for him, like for sure. Like I'm sure that they caught it on camera too, but like in like everybody rose their feet on that dunk. Like it was next level. And I just want to say, like, the thing that's I want a hot take, like Zach LaVine's an overrated little bitch. He doesn't do he doesn't do anything more than try and get, but he's like a poor man's Devin Booker. Like he doesn't do anything else, but he's a bucket when he
missed his first shot, because he started out 5 from 3. He missed his first shot, and it was like, oh, okay, he's human. We can go in now.
Yeah,
because he was really keeping him in it.
But like he doesn't really play great defense.
No.
He doesn't set screens for his teammates, and you don't expect the superstars to do that all the time. But like on the flip side, he's not really orchestrating the offense. He plays a lot like Klay Thompson or somebody, but he's not doing the extra effort things that I would expect a guy of his caliber to do. So it's interesting. I'm not sure if it's because he's unhappy there or what, but like I even had to go back and look at his stat lines last few years, and it's like he's barely 5 and 5 in the other areas. And for a guy that plays nearly 40 minutes a game and has the ball in his hands as much as he does, you would think that he would probably have, take 6, maybe 7 assists a game, maybe 6 rebounds. I don't know. I was kind of surprised. I was like, and tonight I kept thinking like, when's he going to like put a stamp on the game? And I felt like Alex Caruso, everyone's favorite jerk from the local Y, did more to put the stamp on the game. Emotional.
Yeah, Caruso kind of helped. He made some clutch plays. He really helped keep the Bulls in this one. These are great.
He reminds me of like old school, like Eddie Nahara. Like he doesn't give a crap about how talentless he is. He is going to fight like every day.
Love me some Caruso.
Oh yeah, the other things from the in person, Steven Jackson, Matty Barnes were there, and Matrix was in the house tonight, so that was really cool to see him.
Did you see what did you see? So the first two guys you mentioned, Steven Jackson and Barnes, they did a show. They recorded a show with Dirk Nowitzki today.
Oh, I need to go check that out.
It's not up yet. They posted it, and I lost my mind at like 4:00. And I'm glad you brought this up because I completely forgot about this. We'll talk about it when it comes out, but talk about a guy who is in Dirk, who is so satisfied with his career that he's willing to have a sit-down conversation with two people who were his professional enemies and sent him to his worst place. I mean, that's a guy like we need to send Dirk on like a peace mission, because he's just like, he's so accepting of everything. It's amazing.
I did not realize, because I remember thinking, why the hell are two Mavericks murderers sitting courtside for this?
Steven Jackson looks horrendously old too. I ran into him in Vegas and was like, that man has lived. That's what I'll say. All right, man. What else you got for us? Anything else?
I was just gonna say the Hardy Party. I'm all about it, and he. Like I just get the sense that he's going to be growing even more this year. He pulled back at times. He showed poise when, and some of our other new team members like Exum and some of these guys, I appreciate the hustle factor. Like, they work hard on their plays, and they've got length and athleticism, which we desperately needed. But I'm seeing the growth there. So I'm curious if they're going to try and flip Tim Hardaway Jr. maybe at some point. And I'm really wondering what they're going to do, because like they either have to extend. I don't know if that's even. I don't know its situation with Hardy. If
Hardy's only in his second year, and he signed one of those. He signed a great deal for the Mavericks, so he's doing awesome.
Well, he's going to make his bag. Is this his last year on the contract?
No, he's in year 2 of. Did he sign a 4-year? They did something with. He was the only. The reason JaVale McGee didn't get the full mid-level exception last year is they gave a little bit of that money to Hardy.
Okay.
So it's they have him at least. I'll go look this up. I should just know this.
I for some reason I thought he was out after this year. Like I thought he was about to be a free. Like he was going to.
Let's see here. 3 years. So 3-year deal. So he gets one more after this.
Good, because he's I'm excited to watch him, kind of like I was excited to watch Josh Green last year. And the growth has been there. I think, he's never going to be a Desmond Bain, but yeah, man. And all is all, this is a great look. I'm excited about this team. They know how to play together, and to win against a talented team, even though the Bulls can't seem to put it together all the time, they have a lot of talent, and they played really physical tonight. They were beating the shit out of them. And the Mavericks held in. They closed it, which they couldn't do last year. If they can just get the free throws down, I mean, this team could be uniquely special in the way that they surprised the rest of the league after how terrible last year was. So, yeah, I'm just excited, and we didn't even have our second best player. Like, I can't wait to see a fully healthy roster with Kyrie being able to kind of take the load for some of those, because like it got a little choppy in the end of the third with our bench, but if Kyrie's in there to kind of like level that plan, like level it out, great. And then Tim Hardaway Jr.'s body looks different too. He looks more cut this year. I don't know if it's because he thought he was going to get traded or moved around, but he also just looks in better shape than he did last year.
Well, I appreciate you kicking us off. This is going to be a good show. Thanks, David.
Yeah, good to be back, and thank you, Kirk, for keeping us going.
We'll talk soon. Okay, we got a lot of people waiting. This is good. DeFear. I'm going to bring DeFear up here. Hopefully I'm saying the name. What's going on tonight? How are you?
Hey, Kirk, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks so much for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We need more. I mean, I love talking to the same people every day. It's like talking to my friends, but it's always great to bring new people on. What's going on?
Yeah. Hey, I just want to give some credit to Jason Kidd for his substitutions, man. They've been on point. I mean, the last 5 minutes, clutch minutes, I think he's made all the right moves. Like today, keeping Hardy instead of Hardaway. I mean, you could have just.
That was nuts. That felt nuts, and it worked.
Yeah, I know. And last game, I mean, he took Lively out and put Kleba, and it made a lot of sense. I just think, I think that's the only difference. I mean, we've been playing clutch games all season when we made the trade, but we couldn't win any of them. But this year, I feel like Jason Kidd has been prepared for it.
Well, the offense, I wrote about this. Last year, they get into a clutch time game, and it was very quickly, is it going to be Luka scoring or is it going to be Kyrie scoring? You go through that play-by-play tonight. There is a Grant Williams 3. Actually, Grant Williams free throws, Grant Williams 3, Luka Doncic layup, Jaden Hardy 3, Josh Green 3. I mean, it was that many guys. I bet I would have to look for 30 or 40 games to see that many guys actually scoring for the Mavericks in crunch time. That never happens.
Yeah. Well, they've been clutch. I mean, it's just a different. I mean, that's the only difference in my mind. I mean, we've been within 4 or 5 points every single game last year, and we just couldn't close. This year, we're killing everybody. Hopefully, it stays that way.
The defense has been good too. I mean, they really does. I don't know if this was a good defensive game because the Bulls were so disjointed because they're kind of weird, but I liked what I saw from the effort wise. Like there's all sorts of hands on balls tonight. Phrasing, I need to think about that. There was Lively had his hand in passing lanes. There was a great, who was it? It was Exum had basically jumped a post play and stole the ball. There was all sorts of little stuff going on from the Mavericks that I was really, really impressed by. They had 7 steals. That was good stuff.
Yeah, great way to close the games. But I think Jason Kidd gets some credit. I know you're not a big fan.
I mean, but you got to give it when it's due because they're doing something different. And they won.
Right. Totally.
This Regarian asks in the chat, what is Kirk wearing? I'm wearing a 4-year-old Nike Thermaflex hoodie. I live in my Mavs hoodies during the regular season. It's a pro. I'm not a basketball player anymore, but I still will wear the hoodie all the time. Well, thank you so much for joining. You got anything else?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks.
All right. Please come back. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Will do.
All right. Let's see here. We're going to do something real quick. Then we're going to go on to our next guest. If you could, we don't have as many folks in here tonight. You know what? It's almost midnight. That's just fine. But if you could go down and consider liking that stream, I would very much appreciate it. We do these shows as frequently as we can. I like hanging out with Mavs fans and talking ball with as many folks as possible. While you're down there liking the stream, if you haven't subscribed to Pod Maverick yet, you should do so because that would be helpful to me. And I would like to grow the show as quickly and steadily as possible with people who like talking basketball with their friends.
We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. One of the things I love about Indeed is it makes hiring all in one place so easy and streamlined so I can spend more time on the rest of my business. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
All right, now we have a returning guest, though I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. Pranjal, how you doing tonight?
Hey, how are you, Kirk?
I am in a good mood. Really?
Yes, I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight after watching the game. Shout out to the Rangers, but like baseball, I recently got into baseball like the last 2 years. Like I wasn't a baseball fan, and what a good time for me, I guess, to get in. But like final inning baseball, we were only up 3-0 before we hit a 2-homer in the ninth. But final inning baseball is the most terrifying thing.
It's terrifying.
Sports. It's awful. I don't know.
Feel
how
your
much I
heart.
can watch it.
You feel your heart here. It's an awful sensation. Then that's why we watch sports, is to feel that nuts.
Like I think in basketball it's easier because there's a clock, so you're kind of keeping an eye on the clock. In baseball, it's just anticipation. You cannot do anything about it. It's awful. But no, I wrote a couple things down just because I wanted to be in the chat a couple days ago, but it was like super late, so I couldn't be there. But a couple things I wrote down. So first of all, you and Josh talked about it in the podcast version, but THD is like Tim Hardaway Jr. is so frustrating, but he's also like our only confident shooter besides maybe Jaden Hardy, who'll just like pull up. He doesn't hesitate. Like that's one thing that like I like Maxey, but like it feels like if he doesn't get his steps correct, if he doesn't have his arms perfect, he's not gonna shoot. He's gonna pass it off, and it's so frustrating to watch. So like even though Tim Hardaway is so difficult to watch sometimes, he's our most confident guy. So I kind of have to appreciate him for that. And then the other thing is I don't like Jason Kidd a lot. I feel like a lot of things he does is like just weird or just, I don't know, off-putting. But I have to give it to him. Him trusting the young guys, I actually appreciate that a lot now. Because today, it was basically the young guys pulling it out. It was Hardy. It was Lively. And then also, like, because he lets the young guys play, I feel like they gain more confidence and they're able to grow quicker. Because I don't know if Rick Carlisle would have done that. Like today, if Rick Carlisle was coaching, I don't know if he would have put the young guys in the game. I went to the box score today of the Indiana blowout because I wanted to see, like, okay, they were down by 50 at this point. Do you let your rookies play? And no, Rick Carlisle only let his rookies play 15 minutes in a 50-point blowout. To me, that's absurd. If you're down 50, you let your rookies play. You let them gain experience. I don't know why that is, but so shout out to Kid for that. And then the final thing is, it seems like Kleba is getting really hurt. I feel like, do we either send Omax to the G League or do we give him some run? Because I feel like we need to try to find a replacement for Maxey, who's a fantastic perimeter defender. And we have Omax here. He struggled a lot in preseason, so I know why.
He can't be any worse than Maxey's been, though. Like we talked about it a little bit, but they've been winning, so you don't really want to kick a guy while he's down. But Maxey, man, it's making me sad. Like the guy, he had he made the decision to leave the German national team because of his beef with Schroeder. And frankly, I understood why he left. And then they go in the World Cup.
Yep.
That hurts.
Yep.
And then he comes into this year, and this is after his tearing his hamstring. And then you could tell, like, he hurt his foot. That's not like an injury. It's an injury, but like that's not like something you just bounce back from in a day. So I feel for him, man. It sucks right now.
So yeah, overall, I only really watched the fourth quarter of this game because I was watching the baseball, and then I was like in the 8th inning, I was like, I can't watch baseball. I need to just put on the Mavs game to put my mind to somewhere else because it was only 1-0. But yeah, this is overall. The Mavs are very interesting this year. I think this is the most like fun athletic team since maybe rookie Dennis Smith Jr. Like Derek Lively can go up and get it. Derek Jones Jr. can go up and get it. Josh Green will sometimes yam it. This has been a really fun Mavs team. So starting off the year undefeated, and I'm just excited to watch this team finally.
I am too, man. Thanks so much for joining. I hope you come back.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, coming up next, my man with his office background, Brian. What's going on, dude?
My man, how's it going, Kirk?
I'm in a good mood. I'm really tired, but like I'm in that kind of like just kind of coasting. This is good.
Yeah, same. We're 4-0.
I got some good news for you while you're here because you're a watcher of ball.
Okay.
The Clippers just rallied all the way back to tie the game at 117 apiece against the Lakers after being the Lakers were up 10. This is, and we're talking with like a minute and 30 seconds left.
I was talking to my Lakers friends. I was telling them, hey, I've seen this movie before. Y'all better enjoy it while these shots aren't falling. They said, oh, the shots just magically stopped falling. The defense had nothing to do with it. I said, no, I'm pretty sure the defense is pretty good. I've seen Kawhi spend an entire quarter hitting bullshit shots over good defense. It doesn't matter. Take advantage and knock these dudes out while the shots aren't falling. Because when they start, you're going to come back to me crying.
I mean, Anthony Davis played 42 minutes so far. LeBron's at 37. They had to play the corpse of Cam Reddish for 32 minutes. Like this Lakers team is granted, our guy, we'll get back to the Mavericks. Our guy, Christian Wood, is actually performing quite unbelievably well.
He's played well for them. I'm happy for Christian.
The fact that they figured out that he's actually a 6'11" small forward really helps him. But anyway, I just needed to interrupt you to tell you that because I knew you would enjoy the Lakers and that this just like two teams I hate beating the shit out of each other is just ideal.
Yeah, love some Lakers downfall, but we're not here to talk about teams that aren't undefeated. We're here to talk
That's
about
correct.
Teams that
We're not here to talk about
undefeated.
number one. We're here to talk about the number one seed.
The number one seed in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks. Speaking of the number one seed in the Western Conference, the Dallas Mavericks, if I can talk directly for just a moment, to all you national media motherfuckers, I saw you. I saw you and I heard you. You bitch-made motherfucker. I spent the whole summer listening to y'all. Oh, the Mavericks are going to do this. Oh, the Mavericks are going to be the 11 seed. Tim Bontemps, I heard you. Oh, they're going to miss the play-in again. What gives, man?
You're mad.
What
I
gives,
like
man?
it. Look, man, they didn't see the vision, and some of us didn't see the vision.
I mean, I'm mad. I'm mad because what they said was total bullshit, and they knew it in the moment. Zach Lowe, I love you to death, but don't come back to me like in a month. Like, hey, Beck, you know who I like?
The Dallas Mavericks. Don't do that.
Don't do it. I'll cut that podcast off so fucking fast, Zach. Don't play with me.
I don't disagree. I like being quiet because here's what's going to happen, though. Here's what's going to happen. We're not going to hear anything about them, even if they're number one. We're just not. They're not interesting. They don't know how to deal with the Lively of it all. And I said this to Josh Bowe. I think Lively has been better than Wemby. I don't fucking care if that's a hot take. I think he's been better. Okay? I like Wemby. He's been fun.
Yeah, Victor's been the second best center in this rookie class. Well, I mean, center. We know he's going to play center eventually. He doesn't play it right now. But he's been the second. No, I'm sorry. He's been the third best center in this rookie class right now because Shet and Derek Lively are both outplaying him currently.
Yeah. I'm having a guy. This is great. And the ability to be in the background here and being a good team that not a lot of people are paying attention to. Maybe we get swapped. Maybe we get whooped by Denver on Friday. Okay, that's I mean, just to be quite candid, that's likely. Like, the Nuggets are awesome. But if we win that game, we're going to be really difficult to deal with, like, as people. Like, Mavs fans are going to be really difficult to deal with. I hope everybody understands
that Denver game, I'm going to come in here way drunker.
Good.
With way more shit to talk. They don't want to see us win that Denver game, and they better pray to God that Kyrie don't get healthy. Because
I think they held him back specifically because he's going to play in that game.
I would hope so, because we've been winning these games without our second best player. First stinker that our best player has had all season, and we won this game anyway because of defense, because of good ball movement. I'm partially upset because I have to say, because Jason Kidd had probably his best game as a coach for the Mavericks tonight. It's somewhere like in the top 3 of 4 or 5 performances he's had.
Regular season stuff really, for sure. Really he's had some good playoff performances.
I was putting it behind the playoff performances. Yeah. But regular season wise, he was really, really good tonight. His rotations were timely. His decisions were pretty good. He wasn't waffling. He wasn't experimenting. He did exactly what the team needed in the moment. And he didn't let his feelings get in the way of, pulling somebody when it was time to pull him, or taking a risk, like letting Jaden Hardy sit out there after Tim had kept us in that game in the first 3 quarters through some boneheaded mistakes. But, that's Tim. So he shot the ball really, really well, and he didn't finish the game. And you got to have buy-in with a dude, especially a vet of Tim's age, to be like, we appreciate you holding us down all game, but we need you to sit, because I think this, the second-year guy is going to be able to come through for us.
I need to go look. When the hell was Hardy's little stop-start layup? When was that?
Was that like 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left?
So that's what kept him in the game.
I believe so.
That was where is it here? I'm scrolling through, and it was 5 minutes, 13 seconds left.
There we go.
The Bulls called a timeout after that make, because that put the Mavericks up 3. Mm-hmm. Kidd's decision to stick with him then was huge, because that, like, I am not. Hardy really frustrates me, because I think we talk about him in kind of an insane way. That's okay. People should like the players that they like. But that move, he doesn't have a lot of speed. And he tries to go by people sometimes using really weird moves that I'm not a fan of. But that's sort of like Hezzy in the middle of the lane where you can go all sorts of different directions was gorgeous. One of the best moves I've ever seen him make, and probably the most meaningful moment. And so Kidd going with him after that, that's a big confidence booster. That for him, and I hope he's ready.
Yeah, and you can see it in the way that he pulled that shot that pretty much sealed the game for us. Mm-hmm. Well, he hit the shot, and then Josh hit the shot in the corner that actually happened to be the dagger. But, I was just glad that Kidd had faith in them, left them out there, and let them finish the game. And it was what? It was Luka, Hardy, Josh, Grant, Lively?
Something like that. It was weird.
Yeah,
it was the weirdest lineup I've ever seen him throw out, and it worked.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't expect for him to finish with a lineup that small, but Jaden played his way onto the court in those final minutes, and it worked out.
Yep.
Speaking of, Lively was fucking awesome all game. Believe what you want. You can look at that box score, and you can say that Vooch had 20 and 20, and he had a good game. Lively shut their fucking water off in the paint. I saw it with 2 eyes. Zach LaVine was scared to go in the paint. He'd dribble into the paint and find nothing to do down there and have to kick the ball out. DeMar DeRozan, if Lively was in the game,
they couldn't
taking
keep
those
him.
mini pull-ups.
They could not keep him from going after, and the Mavericks as an organization have shied away from offensive rebounds outside of Dorian Finney-Smith for like 4 years, because the analytics will tell you it can kind of kick your ass. But sending Lively as often as they have, because Lively's real fast, like he can turn around and get back on defense, has caused unbelievable amounts of chaos. 7 offensive rebounds is really like and that's just for Lively. That was the deciding thing. Like that's sort of the deciding statistic for me for that game.
7 offensive rebounds and pinpoint passes out of those offensive rebounds to find shooters almost every single time. It was one of his defining traits coming out of college. One of the things that guys like Rafael Barlow loved about him so much. Like, he'd get the offensive rebound. Sure, he was great at that, but he's also a really good and really smart passer and a very unselfish guy. So he is getting the board, and sometimes in college, to a fault, was looking for shooters as soon as he got the ball. And so that's how you end up getting the play where he gets the offensive board, where he's saving the ball going out of bounds, dings it right to Tim, who hits a three. So
it's big. It's big. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. You got anything else?
No, man. I'm just happy we're undefeated, and a lot of these other motherfuckers ain't. That's all it is.
That's exactly right. All right, man. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Peace.
All right. Krishna, you're up next. Welcome to the show.
Kirk, how are you?
I'm good, man. What's going on?
Another horrible night for me. Watching 3 games, and all 3 games went to the clutch.
Sure. But
Terrible.
you had fun. You had fun being upset.
I had fun. We won all 3 of them, which was great. Obviously, one of them winning World Series. Nuts, Kirk. I won't go too long on the Rangers and stuff, but literally only 2 years before I watched like the first real sporting event I ever watched. It was, no one's gonna know this. It was the Cricket World Cup, and no one really cares about cricket here, but
that's
India,
not true, man. We got a professional cricket league starting out in Frisco. Okay, there's enough cricket folks in the area. There's a kid on my son's baseball team who swings the bat like he swings it, like he's doing I don't know what you call a cricket swing, but it's
a bat. It's still a swing.
An incredible thing where I'm just like, yeah, I told the guy's dad, I was like, you need to send that boy to play cricket because he swings the ball. Anyway, cricket's a fun sport to watch.
When it's like in the final things, like it's clutch time, it's fun, but it is very long. It's like twice as long as baseball time, which is an insane thing to think about. But like, and I'm like, how is this the most popular sport in India? But I'm like, you know what? I don't care. The thing is, India, they were essentially like the Cowboys. They had won 1 championship, and like they've lived off of that for years. So then, that being the first sporting event I ever watched, that final was an insane thing. So then, the first American sports event I watched was the 2010 and 11 Rangers World Series.
That's a painful.
Having to watch those back to back as a 10 and 11-year-old were like horrible. So this was great night. Other than that, the Mavs game, wow, Kirk, it's been posted so many times, but the fact this was not a game that would have happened last year.
No,
this was not a game that would have ever happened last year. I mean, I think about, someone was saying, has this ever happened before? Like even last year, and I said, we barely beat the Spurs without Luka last year. So I could not imagine us doing this with Luka in the game and having a game like this. So I think a lot of it is a testament to, I'll give Jason Kidd credit. He did coach a pretty good game. I think some of it was, Maxey being out, unfortunately, is, I think forced his hand a little bit, but it's been mentioned so many times up to this point. Going with the hot hand in Jaden Hardy was seemingly the smart move, and it paid dividends. But then also just trusting these guys, right? Now you have players under 25 who are playing in the clutch for you. Like last year, we had one of the oldest lineups who would have been playing in the clutch with Luka, Kyrie, obviously not Luka, but then Kyrie. Well, you wouldn't have had Dorian, but you would have had Reggie, and you would have had Maxey, and then Powell. Like that's a pretty old lineup in comparison. So I think that kind of change to just youth is a massive positive for this team. And it is 4-0. And I think it's just so funny, right? Everyone is talking about like what the national media says. And I think I was just super excited because I remember there was 2 kinds of things talking about. It's like, oh, the Mavs, like, oh, why did they, tank 2 games? And it's like, it's 2 games. Overreaction. But then also everyone was talking about getting another center, getting a starting center, and I understood the sentiment. And obviously then the whole fiasco in the summer with, oh, they didn't want to trade Tim or like something else. I forget what it was very specifically, that it was like we did not want this to get the Ayton package, right, or whatever. And it's felt really affirming that no one has ever like questioned or thought about we need to go get another center, whether it's Capella or Ayton, because Lively has, I don't want to say he's shut it down, but he's been so positive in these 4 games, even the last game. Like, yeah, he had fouls, but you can see the impact he's having and how his game has translated to the pro level. And one of the things that I felt was really weird, I don't remember where I saw this stat, but of all college centers last year, he was like the only college center to have a positive assist to turnover ratio, which is like an insane thing to have as a center.
Sure.
And it was not even like 1. I think it was like almost like 1.5 or something, which is like he's at least making a few assists and he's not turning the ball over, which is like an insanely rare thing for any athlete to do, much less a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old at that point in college. And so overall, it's just a lot of positives to take from this. This was easily a game we would have lost last year, a game where we would have been blown out. I can't think of remember or when, but I'm sure there was a game where Luka was just not on it and the team could not get him through these moments because you just didn't have guys who were ready to. And the thing that was so positive is guys still had great looks, right? Because they were doubling Luka and they played, and like you tweeted, they played really great defense on Luka. Like that's credit to Chicago, right? They did play great defense on him. But the one thing with Luka is, and what's always talked about, you have to pick your poison. It's either Luka is going to kill you or you let the other guys kill you. And for once in this Mavs franchise, the other guys killed you. The other guys were the ones who made you pay. I mean, Grant having 23 points, 28 points, was the leading scorer tonight. Like, who would have thought that? And, a lot of the concerns about Grant Williams, which I completely understood, I don't think they were unwarranted, but he just didn't play a lot in Boston. Like, that's so easy to forget. He had so many DNPs. And, one of the reasons, Boston fans were, I think rightly mad at him was he then came into a playoff series where he was just not playing consistently. He didn't have the rhythm to be able to start these games and play in the big moments. Not that I don't think he couldn't have done it. I mean, we saw it in that game 7 against Milwaukee 2 years ago. He can do it. He just every player needs to have some consistency, right? This is not like baseball where you just come in and you close the 9th and you pitch 1 inning. You need to have some kind of rhythm. And so I think it's been positive that guys are clicking. And yes, the defense is not great. I think the Chicago team has not been great either, but I think this was a game where it felt like everything is going against you. The calls are going against you. Luka's not having a good game. You're at home again. It felt like, this is a game where the crowd kind of like goes out of it almost. And for them to win this game, I think is really positive. And I'm with you, right? I get the Hardy stuff. I think I've been a little bit more positive. Like, it's shocking the Mavs have drafted 2 good players in the draft these past 2 years, which is something I don't think any of us would have said after, until 98 till 2018, we drafted maybe 1 good player in that time and Josh Howard. So the fact that in these 2 years we've drafted players who are not just serviceable but can be contributing players is pretty stunning. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to add. But,
I don't. That was quite the sports talk segment. I'm very proud of you. That was good stuff.
Well, it's good. It's good. I'm just happy. I hope everyone else has also a great night. I mean, obviously we don't know how it's going to be. I think Denver is going to try to punch us in the mouth on Friday. I mean, they're still an elite team
too. They're not going to be happy.
They're an elite team at home, but I have a little bit of confidence just because, it's good that, it seems like it was good that Kyrie, you get 2 wins without him. Maybe he comes back on Friday, but I also think this team is surprisingly have a good record at Denver, which is like, who knows? Yeah. Maybe this is a season where like maybe it's one of those things like how we always lose to the Knicks when we're good, and the Knicks lost to us last year. We were bad. Like maybe it's one of those things. We have to not be as good as Denver, and then we lose there. But otherwise, everyone enjoy their night and take care.
All right, man. Thanks so much. Talk soon.
Thanks, Kirk.
All right, we got my buddy Ruben. He's waiting there. I can see him. We're gonna see if he turns on the camera and joins us again. Too Mavs. How are we doing this evening?
I'm doing all right, man. The Rangers are world champions. What?
You feel good about that?
Man, I think you may have been living in D.C. when the last time, maybe the last
I was, and I live with a Cardinals, and I live with / am married to a Cardinals fan.
Man.
So 2011 was a nice sub. I'm not really much of a baseball guy, so I can't fake claiming a team.
Me neither, but I'm a Rangers fan.
That's it. You lived here longer than me, so you have more than the cachet to do that. So
yeah, man, I was like hesitant to hop on the chat tonight. I'm a little under the weather. My allergies, or I've got a cold or something. My nose has been running all freaking day, but I had to hop on just to say like the Mavs are 4-0, and they said a stat. I don't know how long it's been since we've been 4-0. It was pretty special. I saw it took me a while to get the game on because of Bally Sports. Oh my God.
Yeah, Josh talked about it. Josh missed most of the game because of that.
bro, it's just it's a pain even trying to log in, and it sometimes you're logged in even when you've been logged in the day before, and it asks you to log in again, and then it's just like it'll tell you to put in the code like it's your first time using the app. But if you have any power, get Bally Sports off the Mavs games. But besides that, it was a good night for Dallas sports, period. I don't really watch hockey like that, but the spots that I did see of the Mavs game, and I'm probably repeating what has been said already. But Derrick Jones Jr. is like, I guess I see why he's starting, but I see how hungry he is. Like his energy is almost Josh like, and Josh was.
I think it's more because Josh is kind of like always scared he's going to get pulled. Jones has been in the league long enough to where he just kind of plays like a madman.
Yeah, I noticed that, but Josh was a plus 14. The biggest thing about him, it's loud when you see him don't make shots, but he made a couple clutch shots tonight. But his energy all over the floor and him starting tonight maybe had a big part of him having that plus 14 tonight, which is super huge. Like, we're usually looking at the end of the game and he's like a negative sometime, but he hits clutch shots though still, but his energy is going in the wrong direction. But Derek Lively is a breath of fresh air. I love Isaac Harris to death, but rebounds do matter. Shout out to Locked On Mavs. Is a running joke of, we won the game without winning the rebound. No, it's easier to win the game when you win the rebound battle. And especially,
and you don't got to win by a lot, but the Mavs were getting waxed by like 10 to 12 boards every game.
And you just mentioned he got it on the offensive end too.
Mm-hmm.
And that pass to Hardaway was we've been missing that. And it's a key part of why we are 4-0. And something I couldn't have said maybe the past 2 years, maybe since Luka's been on the team, when Luka's having a bad game, we have players that can do more than just miss a three or try to make a three. They can, dish out to other players or go to the basket themselves. And Grant Williams and Derrick Jones Jr. has been doing that all season, I feel like. And Hardy, I'm proud of the game he had. He didn't mess up too much. He contributed to some clutch baskets. That play you were just talking about, and that clutch three he had.
Loved it.
It just can't be explained enough. But I'm so happy of where this team is. And if we beat the Nuggets, oh my God, I think I put it in the chat. The 180, the talking heads on the media, like ESPN and stuff, all the other, podcasts,
sure,
nationwide podcasts, they have been talking nothing but down on the Mavs this entire off season. And even when they do bring up the Mavs, oh, why do we have to talk about them? They're just gonna be blah blah blah. We are 4-0, and you just reminded me we are the number 1 seed in the West right now. But if we beat the Nuggets, that is what do you call it? Is it a benchmark game or?
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to be impossible to deal with, like, in terms of talking to anybody that's a Mavericks, not a Mavericks fan. Like, if you beat the Denver Nuggets, start the season 5-0, whoo.
That'll be incredible. But I just wanted to hop on. I'm going to go take some NyQuil real quick. But go Rangers, man, that feels incredible. But go Mavs as well. 4-0, baby. Go Mavs.
All right,
have a good night.
Thanks so much. Yeah, you feel better. Talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, guys. This has been fun. Also, it's 42 minutes moving in and out. I think we talked to 8 or 9 people tonight. Anybody that's listening on a podcast the next day, we want to hear your takes in here. I like talking basketball with anybody that wants to talk a little basketball. This has been Kirk Henderson over at Mavs Moneyball. This has been Pod Mavericks presents Mavs Party. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Go Mavs.